Okay, what are the top brands advertising on the radio? If you had to guess, Lewis, what companies do you think, just based on what you hear, companies you see spending a lot of ad dollars on TV, who do you think is advertising on the radio right now the most?
Well, Anheuser-Busch slash whatever company just bought them.
Okay, which is Bud Light, right?
Right.
Okay.
I don't know. I really don't listen to much terrestrial radio or much radio at all, really.
Okay. Well, this to me was surprising. The number one advertiser on the radio is Geico. Geico Insurance. On TV, they have this Gecko, kind of a well-known ad campaign. I'll be honest, I can't remember actually hearing a commercial on the radio for Geico. Now, I have to say, I listen to almost no regular radio. I have a Sirius XM radio subscription, and there the advertisers are a little bit different. It's not the same ones, but I can't remember hearing a Geico radio commercial at all. But apparently they're the top radio advertiser. Number two is Home Depot. Also not one that I would think of as a top radio advertiser. Followed by McDonald's, AutoZone, HD Radio, and Walmart. I'm a little surprised by that list. I didn't know that those were the top 5 companies in terms of how much spending they're doing on radio advertising. And especially AutoZone. To me, AutoZone is almost kind of like an outdated business that, people are getting their specialized auto parts online, or you can even go to Walmart just to get your motor oil. I don't know. One of the top 5 radio advertisers.
I guess, well, if it's radio, and you're in your car, AutoZone, I don't know.
Presumably. And I guess Home Depot maybe goes along the same lines, even though just because you have a car doesn't mean you're doing your own home improvement projects.
McDonald's for sure.
McDonald's makes sense. That's a clear one. And Geico, obviously, if radio
TV,
if radio is mostly listened to in the car, and Geico sells car insurance, then that's a logical fit.
Right.
And then HD radio. Well, if you're listening on the radio, that means you listen to radio. You might want one of these HD radios. Speaking of advertisers, we've heard about Glenn Beck losing advertisers due to saying Barack Obama hates white people. Beck himself says people call him a racist because he doesn't support Barack Obama. Beck disagrees. Of course, he says he's a patriot. And to help his cause, what does he do? He brings on Pastor Stephen Broden. And you might say, how does this help? Well, Broden's black. That's how it helps. So he brings them on. They talk about how generally they agree about disagreeing with where the country is going. Take a listen.
I believe what we're seeing is an orchestrated attempt to radically change this country from what the founders had in mind, the framers of the Constitution and those who wrote the Declaration of Independence, what they had in mind for this nation to be. There is a deliberate attempt on the part of Marxists, socialists, and atheists, I call them Darwin atheists, who are attempting to change this country. And the first step is the dispossession of our Judeo-Christian heritage.
Okay, so a black person agrees with Glenn Beck. He must not be racist. But after praising Pastor Broden, Broden goes on to talk about, Glenn Beck praises him and they're getting all friendly and, hey, this is great. A black guy agrees with me. I'm not a racist. I'm a great guy. Advertise with me. Broden goes on to talk about how there are proposed eugenics and black genocide components to the Barack Obama healthcare plan. So all of a sudden, Glenn Beck gets a look on his face like, whoa, wait a second. Is this the guy that I want to be associated with? What is this guy talking about? Take a listen to this.
I have to tell you, Reverend, I don't know really anything about you except what I've seen on video today and just hearing you speak now, and I'd love to have you back. I know you're not a fan of John Holdren and forced sterilization sterilization in the drinking water, so I'd love to have you back, sir.
Oh, absolutely. There is a documentary that we just produced, Glenn, that I think you ought to get your hands on.
Uh-oh.
It's called My Alpha 21, and you can get it at myalpha21.com, where we chronicle and list the eugenics movement and black genocide taking place in America today. It is absolutely necessary for all Americans to see that, because what's going on in that documentary is what's going to happen in the health care package.
You have really done your homework on the early 20th century progressive movement, haven't you?
Oh, of course he has.
Oh, yes.
He's an expert. He's an expert. It's the Glenn Beck strategy. Let's bring on a black guy. He'll agree with me. I'll praise him. Oh, wait a second. He says that the proposed healthcare reform would include certain things, certain regulations that would start weeding
Genocide.
out black people. It would be genocide.
That's a powerful word.
It's a power. There's going to be black genocide and eugenics involved. Okay. This stuff is really all over. There's another guy, Bill Donohue. He's the current president of the Catholic League for Religious and Civil Rights. He says that the atheists are out to get Catholics. Oh, wait a second. Actually, it's not just the atheists. It's also the Catholics who aren't that into their religion. Well, it sounds like everybody's out to get Catholics, if you believe Bill Donohue.
Well, I don't mean the moderate liberals. I have no problem with them. I'm talking about the extremists within their ranks who have become very, very vocal. And over the last, I'd say, several decades, what we've seen is an all-out assault, this kind of new atheism, this militant, dogmatic, fundamentalist atheism out there to get us. And not just atheists. I'm talking about people who are disaffected Catholics and Protestants who are mutineers within their own religion trying to change things. You know, the old radicals, whatever you might say about the Marxists,
right,
they wanted to tear down our society to put something new in. I think their idea was flawed. But the new radicals are the nihilists. All they want to do is tear down the cultural edifice.
Okay, so it's not. So the problem here, Lewis, the people that are they're taking down the Catholic Church are the atheists and the Catholics who, they're just kind of lukewarm on their religion. They're not that into it. So now they're out to get Catholics. It has nothing to do with the priests who molest children and the senior Catholic officials who only kind of minimally, vaguely condemn their actions. It's the atheists who are hurting the Catholic Church. It has no mention at all of the fact that the church itself has a huge and has had a huge problem with molesting children.
These are probably the same people who, fight in the war on Christmas.
Right, it must be. Yeah, absolutely. The war on Christmas soldiers, so to speak, which are the atheists. And it's funny. It's not even like it's just to say the Catholics who are kind of not really involved with their church. They're a huge threat. To me, they seem just very casual. They're just not that involved with their church.
They may be paying church fees, but they want to see the place burn.
Right.